When the Carter family moved into the old house on Willow Street, they thought it was a lucky find. The house was large, beautiful, and surprisingly cheap. Emily Carter loved the tall windows and the wooden staircase that curved gently into the second floor. Her husband, Mark, liked the quiet neighborhood. Their 8-year-old daughter Lily was excited to finally have her own room. The real estate agent had been unusually eager to close the deal. "Old houses just have character," she said with a forced smile. The Carters didn't think much of it. At first, everything seemed normal. But on the third night, something strange happened. Emily woke up suddenly at exactly 3:12 a.m. She didn't know why. The room was dark and silent. Mark slept peacefully beside her. Then she heard it. A faint sound. A whisper, so soft that she almost thought she imagined it. She held her breath. There it was again. A quiet voice, coming from somewhere inside the wall beside their bed. Emily slowly sat up. "Mark," she whispered. He groaned, half asleep. "What's wrong? Listen." They both stayed silent. For a moment, there was nothing. Then the whisper returned. Soft, desperate. "Leave." Mark frowned and sat up. "Did you hear that?" Emily nodded slowly. The voice came again. "Get out." The sound was weak, like someone speaking from very far away, or buried deep inside the house. Mark stood up and pressed his ear against the wall. Nothing, just silence. He shook his head. "Probably pipes," he said. Emily tried to believe him, but the voice had sounded too clear, too human. The whispers continued the next night, and the night after that, always at 3:12 a.m. Every time, the voice came from inside the walls. Sometimes from the bedroom, sometimes from the hallway, once, from Lily's room. Emily rushed in and found her daughter sitting up in bed. "Mom, someone is talking," Lily said quietly. Emily felt her stomach twist. "What did the voice say?" Lily looked scared. "It keeps saying, 'Don't stay here.'" Mark tried to stay calm. "It's an old house," he insisted. "Probably animals in the walls." But Emily noticed something strange. The voice never sounded like scratching or movement. It sounded like words. Clear, slow, almost like someone struggling to warn them. One night, Mark decided to investigate. Armed with a flashlight and a small hammer, he walked through the house while Emily and Lily waited nervously in the living room. The whisper started again. "Listen." Mark followed the sound down the hallway. It was coming from the wall beside the staircase. He pressed his ear against it. The voice sounded closer now. Urgent. "They're coming." Mark felt a chill crawl down his spine. He tapped the wall lightly with the hammer. The sound was hollow. There was empty space behind it. Without hesitation, he struck the wall harder. The drywall cracked. Dust fell to the floor. Emily ran into the hallway. "Mark, what are you doing?" He ignored her and broke a larger hole in the wall. Behind it was a narrow space between the walls. Just darkness. Mark pointed the flashlight inside. Something was written on the wooden beams. Words scratched deep into the wood. Over and over again. "Get out," Emily gasped. Then the whisper came again. But this time, it wasn't inside the wall. It was right behind them. Too late. Mark turned slowly. At the end of the hallway stood a tall shadow. Not quite human. Its shape twisted unnaturally along the ceiling. Lily screamed from the living room. The lights flickered violently. The whispering grew louder. Not just one voice anymore. Dozens. Hundreds. All speaking at once from every wall in the house. "We tried to warn you." The shadow moved closer, its long arms stretching along the walls like black smoke. Emily grabbed Lily and pulled her toward the front door. "Run." They rushed outside into the cold night air. Mark slammed the door behind them. The house fell silent. For a moment, everything seemed normal again. No whispers. No shadows. Just the quiet street. Mark looked back at the house. One window on the second floor slowly opened by itself. And from inside the darkness, the whisper returned. Soft. Broken. Almost sad. "We told you." The Carter family moved out the next morning. They never returned to the house on Willow Street. But years later, when new families moved in, Neighbors often said they heard strange sounds late at night. Whispers. Desperate voices. From inside the walls. Still trying to warn the next family. Before it was too late. Ghost.